Hi lovelies, this is Sarah Ariana Sunflower, and I am going to be pulling some cards for December 4th, the full moon in Gemini. And right here you can see I've already pulled a spiral oracle card, and the card that showed up was alignment. And the main theme for that card was I deserve to live in peace, or if you want to call it a mantra, I deserve to live in peace. And what does that alignment, what does that peace feel like for you? Because we are heading into a new year, of course, and it is not just a new number year on the calendar, it is spiritually and energetically different. And lots of astrologers and very knowledgeable esoteric workers have talked about 2026, and this is the last full moon of this year before we move there. So I think that focusing on that feeling of alignment and peace is going to be a really powerful opportunity to clear stuff out, really like hold on to what we want as we move forward. So let's, speaking of clear things out, let's move her over and let's pull some cards for the collective. Like I said, full moon in Gemini, December 4th. The Great Priest, or the Hierophant. Okay, so we're looking at our knowledge, how our knowledge holds power, how we are growing our knowledge. To me, the Hierophant has always kind of been an archetype of a mentor or a teacher, but right now, I have been finding the Hierophant to represent practice. Practice. We're talking about practice. Ten of Cups, the Lovers, Queen of Cups, Seven of Swords, the Fool. Okay, what a story here, right? There feels a bit emotional fulfillment, a connection to the self. When we're talking about alignment, I see the Lovers as that relationship with the self versus another person. Queen of Cups in reversed. Definitely some caution here that we're feeling. Again, Seven of Swords, that caution is rightfully so. I think if we look back on the year, some of the surprises or reveals of this year, and that could be of reveals from ourselves, from our inner self, from ourself to another, what we've learned about other people. It's all kind of tied up there with that Seven Swords. And then the Fool, right? Ready to take another leap. There's a lot of faith here in these cards. And as cautious and reserved as we may feel, as unsatisfied as we are with some of our efforts this year, for the most part, we remain open, optimistic, hopeful, and willing to continue to learn. And so that's a great place to be with this work that we're doing. Page of Wands, Nine of Cups. Once again, there is some motivation there. There is, almost, I wouldn't want to say naive, but definitely despite everything that we've experienced, we're still prepared or willing to get prepared. And the Nine of Cups, conversely to that Ten of Cups in reverse, shows that the successes lie in what we have provided for ourselves. Not what's on the outside, but what's on the inside. And so we've got a lot of cards here, and there's a lot to this story for the collective that we can kind of cast our own judgments on, but the practice that the Hierophant is requesting from us is to reserve that judgment, okay, and to move forward with faith, the Fool, trust in a higher power, that higher power being our higher self, trust in the alignment of what Spirit is doing for us, what Spirit is removing for us. Allow yourself to let go of. Thank it for being there. But we are building something much greater, and that's why it's so hard. With the full moon illuminating, some of these stories that we've attached ourselves to, some of these just like these claims that we make, that we believe. This full moon in Gemini, now that some of the retrogrades of the planets have kind of went direct and some of that astrological traffic jam is clearing up, we can see the real truth, the light, the warmth. And I say that as I watch the snow falling for, I don't know, it's been falling for a few days now. And that first day was no joke, about a foot of snow. It did feel cleansing in a way, although it was pretty strong, right? So energetically as well, some of this energy will be rushing into our sphere, but with intentions of cleansing. So I want one final card to share with you all today. And I did record a reading previous to this one. I might post it as well. So for our final card, Three of Pence, or Three of Pentacles, I'm using the Tarot Fortune cards, which I've used previously. They're also reprinted by Tarot Collectibles, my favorite cards. And I love the old-timey feel that these cards give. Three of Pentacles. This card signifies some gain. It also, to me, what I'm seeing here is collaboration. We've got someone planning, we've got someone here possibly directing or maybe making some critiques, and somebody working. Now this could be on an outer level, that collaboration, invite that collaboration this full moon this month in the work that you're doing, but this can also look on an inner level like designating roles to create the life you want. So that can be, for example, kind of setting like your own personal curriculum, or completing a list of tasks that you designate to certain times. Three of Pentacles is really interesting here because this full moon is feeling much more like, to me at least, working on receiving, working on trusting, and I guess that will reflect for us in our daily life. So as we learn to trust ourselves and what we provide, we will be called into working with others. We will be called into relationships that are built on the foundation of trust, rather than whatever was going on here in the Seven of Swords, rather than imposter syndrome or setting a higher expectation than we're able to meet, or vice versa. There seems to be a coming to correctness or correcting of what was a fairness, right? And that really speaks to alignment. And with alignment, like I said, that mantra of I deserve to live in peace is also about calling and waiting and hearing the universal intention of life. We are the only ones who can give ourselves permission to accept the invitation of peace. So right now, face the sun and live your life the way it is meant to be lived. Live it now. Be here now. Recover your power. Accept your life. Breathe through the pain. Breathe through the joy. And do what you've come here to do. Because 2026 is full of those energetic invitations that first we have to accept and draw in order to, reap the rewards and hold those blessings that are available for us. But first, clear it out. Let the full moon illuminate some of those stories that we're holding on to, and move forward with trust that you are aligning with spirit. I believe in all of you. This reading was meant to empower. It was meant to clarify, not confuse. It was here to erase any self-doubt that we may have this full moon in this month. And I hope you carry this with you as you move through your day, through your week, through your month, and through the rest of the year. Thank you for listening as always. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will also be starting a book club for 2026. There is more information about it in my newsletter. If you don't get that, you're just watching this video. We will be reading The Perennial Philosophy by Aldous Huxley. Well, it's really more like an anthology of texts about, obviously, philosophy and theology, and how there is like a universal message within many beliefs. So that's what we'll be doing. If you are interested, message me, comment here. And yeah, thanks as always for supporting me.